You can't just say you want to improve yourself when you're still lying to yourself. What I mean by that, you can't just say you want to improve yourself when you're literally doing nothing. All you do is complaining instead of doing the work, instead of going to the gym, eating right, checking your macros, counting your calories. You're not doing no effort. All you do is complain and envy others who are doing the work. But we also gotta be more mindful that we have our own different mindsets. We don't think alike. So of course some things can be a little easy for others, especially when it comes to weight, mindset, and goals. But also you can't be saying that you're gonna improve on yourself when you're doing nothing. You're just eating shitty food on a daily basis. You're doing nothing, like, at the same time, you're not being realistic or holding yourself accountable. You can't just say that, oh, I want to lose 100 pounds in 3 weeks. Like, no, that's not how it works. That's why people most fail, especially in the new year. They put these crazy ass goals. Like, they're gonna lose 100 something pounds. They're gonna do these crazy hobbies. Like, that's not how it works. But I'm not saying that you can't do it. Like, if you have the right mindset, the right discipline, and if you're consistent about it, you gotta stay consistent on your goals. You gotta do it every day, even if you're tired or you don't want to do it. Because if you're really passionate, if you're really consistent on your goals, then you'll eventually get where you want to be at. You can't just say these unrealistic goals and then fail, because that's going to make you feel more shitty. It's going to make you feel like you're slacking off. It's going to make you feel inconsistent. Like, no, you got to be more realistic, like 20 or even 10 pounds as a start. Because even though, let's just say if it was 10 pounds, that doesn't mean you're going to lose them quickly. Nah. Because you got to do your own research and depending on your body and your health, making sure you have no condition. Everyone's different, like I mentioned. You can't just say these crazy numbers and still doing these old habits. If you want to improve on yourself and actually do the work, you gotta make sure you're looking into yourself. You gotta self-reflect. You gotta be honest with yourself. Not a lot of people like to be honest or hold themselves accountability. It's because these bad habits, people feel like they're ashamed about it, or it's the new norms. Like these certain addictions and things that they do on a daily basis. If you're gonna do something about it, at least own up to it. Own up to your mistakes. Own up to your problems. That's a first start on improving on yourself. I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy. Like, of course, you're not gonna be perfect all the time. But you gotta be willing to acknowledge it. At the end of the day, everyone's different. Everyone has their different mindset, their different willpower, their different consistent. Like, you can't just start doubting yourself or comparing yourself to someone's chapter. Like, that's not how it works, because the more you focus on comparing your goals with other people and how they're doing their achievements, that's going to make you feel like you're slacking or you're doing nothing, or the murder. Like, you can't just be comparing yourself to others. That's going to make you feel more shitty and more insecure and most likely to keep up failing and slacking. Now, something that's promoting this self-destruct, I don't really agree with the movements or the substance of it. Especially as a bigger size of myself, a bigger person, whatever you want to call it. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for accepting the body that you're in. That doesn't mean you could stay in that same body, the same weight, the same problems, like, you know? And I feel like the fat accepted and positive body movements, I feel like it's the wrong idea. I feel like instead of taking accountability, they're trying to avoid it and get comfortable in being unhealthy, while they're promoting this to children, to a bunch of other people that are trying to improve on themselves, but yet they're starting to get comfortable. Like, that's the big problem. It's like another way to avoid accountability or making up excuses like, I love my body, I love myself. But this self-love they call is self-destruct in disguise, because you're not doing nothing better for your body. You're just making it worse and feel more shitty about it. Like, people are getting out of shape. They're getting these diseases. They're getting these health problems. Even if they're from family conditions, even they say that, oh, it's part of the family. Just because something is part of the family doesn't mean you need to have it or your family. Like, if you see your family is out of shape or have these poor habits or these horrible addiction, that doesn't mean you have to follow it. You could do something about it before it's too late. Because if you stay in that hole, you're not going to get to see the potentials where you're meant to be for the greater, You can't just make up these excuses because how society is or how your family is or the culture. Like, nah. If you're going to improve on yourself, accept the fact and actually hold yourself accountable. That's why you gotta know yourself and then seek self-improvement. And I totally understand that. Not a lot of people want to say these things because they don't want to be sound as rude or mean or bullies. Like, we're telling someone the truth, that would be good than lying to them or seeing all these other bullshit. Because if they find out that it's just a bunch of lies, then you're basically hurting them. Like, yeah, there's different ways to approach it and actually say it. You don't have to be mean. You don't gotta bully people, Like, bullying's not the answer. Like, I'm not saying, oh, bully someone who's 400 pounds or like 1,000-pound sister. Like, nah, we're not doing that shit. But be honest, Like, approach it in the concerning way, like you care for them, because you generally aren't. You don't want to be in this lifestyle, in this bad habit, You want to make sure that you live longer and take care of yourself. If no one else does it, at least be the first, the few to try to break that cycle. That's why you gotta, again, know yourself, seek self-improvement, make sure you do self-reflection and actually facing your problems. Don't actually do them, but acknowledge them and see what triggers them and see what you can do to avoid it or make sure it doesn't happen again. Because the more you keep on doing it by step, eventually you're going to become more disciplined, more consistent about it, and make sure you're a role model to other people, or be family members, friends, or even strangers, because sometimes one action that you're doing, where we go walking, taking care of yourself, or even running, if someone sees you doing it consistently, they're going to see it as a role model, and then they're going to start doing them themselves. You see? So, I want you to really think about it. If you feel like you're giving up, you feel like you keep on constantly feeling the same shit over and over again, try to find what's slowing you down, what are your bad habits, and actually holding yourself accountable. Because I know it's something that not a lot of people want to do because they feel ashamed or embarrassed on their habits or addiction. Everyone feels that way because they feel like they're going to get judged. But if you're more honest about it, people will actually respect you and probably help you too on the journey. So take the time, self-reflect, know all your strengths and weakness, and try to live with that 1% every single day and improving yourself step by step. Enjoy the bonus episode. Hopefully I'm doing a little bit better. Give a like, comment, subscribe if I earn it. But anyways, see you guys on the next episode, and take care of yourself.